everyone. Welcome. My name is Claire Dolan. I'm an assistant director here at Loyola's undergraduate admissions office. I primarily work with students coming from Florida, Hawaii, and some of our local Chicagoland high schools. So hello if I'm your admissions representative. I'm really excited to have the opportunity today to share with you some important next steps as you are growing closer to making your college decision and ultimately starting in the fall here as a Rambler. At the end of my presentation, I'll be able to share with you some ways to connect with our office in case you have further questions on any of the information that I share with you today. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so this is your application portal. This is that page you could very first check into to make sure we received your materials, but ultimately to see your decision and that congratulations that you were admitted to Loyola. This is still an incredibly helpful page for you to check into and a great resource as we make our way closer to not only that decision deadline, but also to the beginning of you starting classes at the end of August. So a few different things I want to point out on this page that'll be really helpful for you. Over on the right-hand side, you can see the admissions representative who is assigned to you. We are all here to help. So if you or your family have any questions, big or small, you are welcome to reach out. Our contact information is posted there, and we are happy to answer whatever may be on your mind. So know that that information is very available to you. And then a couple of those little tabs that are located on this page that I want to just make you aware of. The Admitted Student Events tab is currently hosting the sign up for our virtual individual appointments. So if you would like the opportunity to chat one-on-one with an admissions representative, we can either do that over the phone or through a video kind of conference. We're happy to set that appointment up. So you can register for a one-on-one meeting, talk about anything that's on your mind. Family and parents are welcome to join for those as well. So know you can click that Admitted Students Events to register. The Additional Applications tab is going to hold a very useful tool when you're searching for scholarships. Right now is a great time to be looking for some of those additional outside opportunities that may be available to you. And so there is a really helpful scholarships tips link that's posted there, giving you some just different ways to think about looking for and searching out some of those opportunities. So I would highly recommend taking a look through there too. On this part of the page, you'll also see your UVID, that universal ID. If you have logged into a system called LOCUS, this should sound familiar. We're going to talk about LOCUS and what's inside in just a slide or two. But it is really important that you use that universal ID to log into your student portal to access more of your next step information. So you can follow the instructions that are posted there. You need to complete a first-time login using a temporary password that we sent out to you in an email. If you search your inbox, you're looking for an email called Accessing Loyola's Information System. And this is where you're going to want to go to set up that first password, and then from there on out, you'll just use your universal ID and the new password that you create. If you have questions or need help, need to locate that email, whatever it could be, just reach out to us, let us know. It's a quick fix and we're happy to help you out with that. All right, further on, if you scroll down the page, you're going to see some of the current next steps that are posted there for you. Like I mentioned, this page is going to continue to update. So it is really helpful for you to look and see what new information may be available throughout the rest of the next couple of months. So right now, we're encouraging families to file the FAFSA if you have not done so already. If you file the FAFSA, you're being reviewed for what we consider need-based aid. So things like grants, which is gift aid, our student loans run through the federal government, and then the federal work-study program, the opportunity for you to gain employment working a job on campus. That's something that you would be eligible to be reviewed for once we receive your FAFSA. So you can still file the FAFSA. If you do, or if you have already filed it, you want to make sure that it's sent over to Loyola and the code for us is included there. So something to take a look at if you have not yet considered filing the FAFSA. Learning about research and internship opportunities. Loyola really does have so much to offer to our students, and this will give you some quick information about our Center for Experiential Learning, which really helps connect students to hands-on experiences outside of the classroom. You can also learn a little bit more about what internships look like at Loyola, and hear from some of our current students or past students who have been able to participate in things like internships, research, and service learning too. And then our career services. 98% of our graduates are either employed or currently enrolled in a graduate or professional school program within 3 months of graduation. And that is amazing, but we want to share with you a little bit more about how our students got to that point and connecting you to our Career Development Center, looking at some of those additional resources they have available, the advising and events that happen to really help you get onto that next step after college is over. So some great information to kind of take a deeper look at now as we work our way closer to decision deadline. And then on the bottom of the page, if you scroll all the way down, you're going to see your deposit area. This is going to be where, when you decide Loyola is the place for you, you'll put down your deposit, and this is going to guarantee and hold your place in our freshman class. That has a June 1st deadline, and so that deposit is refundable until June 1st. So if you wanted to say today yes to Loyola, you can place your deposit through your portal just by scrolling down to the bottom of the page, looking for that submit your deposit section, and you're good to go. And then at the bottom of the page, you'll also see information about self-reporting scores. So with your application, you are able to self-report ACT or SAT scores. And we used that to review your application and make a decision. You can see the scores that we have on file by just clicking that View Submit Your Test Score area. But we will also be looking for you to submit official copies of those scores to kind of fact check the scores that you sent us as part of the application. So do know that that's something that we will be asking you to submit as we get closer to you starting the school year with us. All right, let's move on to LOCUS. So the student portal that I just showed you, that's really your application portal. And then once you come to Loyola, LOCUS is the portal that you use for everything as a Loyola student. This is where you go to register for classes. This is where you go to check your bill, to update your personal information. It's really a great resource, and we want to make sure that you're set up and ready to use that as an incoming Rambler. So to log in, you can just go to LUC.edu/LOCUS. You can also access this on our homepage on the website. To log in, you're going to use your universal ID. Again, that's posted onto your student portal, so you can always reference that page to double check what that is. And then the password. You create your password after you complete the self-service, so that first time setup. When you complete that, you'll have your own password and you'll use that moving forward. So the temporary password we give you to set it up is just that one time. So once you get that all set and ready to go, you'll just put in the password that you've created, and that's the one you'll use every time you want to access LOCUS. So again, it is important that you do the first time setup. The password self-service site will walk you through it. And if you have questions about how to get your temporary password, you can always contact us and we're here to help. So once inside, a couple of different areas I want to call your attention to. The first is your next stop. This is your go-to place for completing things like your housing contract, looking over your financial aid status, considering placement tests, results, and information, as well as your immunizations. So we'll talk about all of that in just a minute or two, but a couple of other places that are worth clicking and exploring when you are logged into your LOCUS account. Number 2 is going to bring you over to campus finances, click through, get familiar with that area, as well as the number 3, personal portfolio, making sure that your information is all up to date and accurate. So those really, as an incoming student and as someone right now who's kind of making their decision, those are all areas that you can click through and get familiar with in your LOCUS account. Okay, when you click on your next stop, it's going to show you a page similar to this. And so this is going to walk you through some of the really important steps that you need to take when you have made that decision. So you'll have access to a lot of this information after you submit your deposit. And we'll talk about the timing of all of that in just a minute here. But this information will be available to you. And what you'll look for within your next stop are things like your housing contract. You'll go in, you'll rank your preferences. We'll talk about how housing will work. You can also check in on your financial aid status. I highly recommend clicking through and exploring that area. And you'll also see when it's available information about placement test results, as well as where you'll go to submit your immunization form. All these things we'll be going over in much more detail, but just know the next stop page is really the page to turn to when you do get access to your LOCUS account. Okay, so before June 1st, before making your decision, a couple of different things to keep in mind. Right now is a great time to be reviewing your financial aid package. You can access this through your LOCUS account. And when you're inside, if you have questions about the numbers that you're seeing, the information available to you, please don't hesitate to reach out to either the admissions staff or to our financial aid office. We're all here and very happy to assist with questions. If this is your first time walking through, the college financial aid system, or maybe you've had multiple students through it, but you just need a refresher on some of the information that's available, let us know. And don't hesitate to reach out if you do have questions. Making your deposit, that's definitely something you want to consider before that June 1st deadline. We have on your portal the place for you to place your deposit. So again, going back to that first screen that we looked at, scrolling all the way to the bottom and saying yes to Loyola. And then the last thing that you're going to want to consider is your housing contract and your housing exemption form. So Loyola has a 2-year residency requirement for students, which means that you are required to live on campus the first 2 years that you're here with us. Freshman year, you live in one of our freshman halls, and then sophomore year, you get to choose from some of our upperclassmen options. Now, if you are someone who is coming from Chicago or the Chicagoland area and you're considering the opportunity to commute, you'll want to complete your housing exemption form. So this form is located through the Residence Life website. If you search for just housing exemption form, it'll come right up for you. You're able to put this form in electronically. So it's not a paper form, you'll submit it through the computer. And this is going to ask for some information about, where you live. It'll have your parent or guardian verify the information you include. And that information all gets sent back to our Residence Life office. They ultimately make that review and decision on whether you are allowed to commute to Loyola. So if you are considering right now the opportunity to commute, then you'll want to pursue the housing exemption form. It's something you can do before you place your deposit. You can do this today. Just searching out that form on the website, putting in some information. Like I said, that'll get the process started for the Residence Life office to really review that information and have that decision sent back to you. If you are coming from a little further away, then you will be living with us on campus, and we're going to talk about what the housing contract looks like, the information to include, so that we can find you a home for next year. So the housing contract, you submit your deposit by June 1st, and you can submit it earlier than that. When you submit your deposit, about 24 to 48 hours later, you have access to your housing contract. So you'll see it pop up in your next stop in your LOCUS account. When you click that account, you will see that you have to put in a couple of different pieces of information as part of your housing contract. So we have 6 awesome residence halls that freshmen choose from. We do everything lottery style, which means it is not first come, first serve. It is totally okay to still not know, where you're going to be living. We're going to help you through that process once you make that deposit to Loyola. We really want you to consider where you're going to go to college next year, not just where you want to live. So that's why we do it all lottery style. So we have 6 different halls, and when you are looking for them, they are going to be Mertz Hall, Campion. We have our new hall, Francis. We have Simpson, DeNoble, and San Francisco. When you go on our website, and I encourage you all to do this, if you search for Residence Life, you'll be able to click through and see those different halls that I mentioned. We have some virtual tour options and some picture layouts and just some stats about each one of the spaces. They're all a little bit different, so I do encourage you to take a look through. That way you'll be a little bit more familiar with maybe which one stands out to you as what your first preference would be. So when you do rank your preferences, you put in your first choice, second choice, third choice, and so on. The Residence Life office will use that information when they are placing you into housing. The other thing that you can do when you're filling out your housing form is that you can request a roommate. Let's say you meet somebody through the Facebook group, maybe someone from your high school is also coming here and you want a room with that person. You put in their name, they put in your name, and then that info gets sent back to the Residence Life office. More students go the random route, so it's totally okay to not request someone, but the opportunity is there for you if you choose. When you're in your housing contract, you'll also put in some information about your meal plan. So Loyola offers a 5 or 7 day unlimited access. So all you can eat cafeteria option for students. And so we have 3 on-campus cafeteria style dining options for students. And you can go into those as many times a day as you'd like, either Monday through Friday for the 5-day or every day of the week if you're on the 7-day plan. In addition to those unlimited swipes you have to go into those dining facilities, you also have dining dollars. And dining dollars work for some of our like grab and go stations, the little cafes, the smoothie shop, the burger station, the little Starbucks. Those are there for you to use in the like non-traditional cafeteria eatery options on campus. So lots of options for you to choose from, but you'll go ahead and select the plan that works best for you. For our freshmen, we also offer learning communities. Learning communities give you the chance to stay on the same floor of a residence hall as other students with that same exact interest. And this is not going to be based off of your major. Really, it's going to be based off of a little bit more of a general topic. So for example, we have the leadership community, we have wellness, we have the greenhouse for environment. All of that are options for you to choose from that help you get to know the people around you. So the person across the hall from you, the people next door, they have that same exact interest, and it's a nice opportunity to engage and build a community coming in. There's also some really fun, I call them like field trips, where you'll get to participate with things as like a group outside of just your residence hall too. So exciting participation to look forward to as part of the learning communities. All right, so for your assignment, really the first thing you do is you place that deposit. 24 to 48 hours later, you have access to your housing contract through your LOCUS account. And that's again in the next stop portal part, that's that middle section when you log in. Once you submit your information, our Residence Life office is going to work hard on making those assignments. So the first thing you're going to find out is what building you'll be in, followed by your room and roommate information. That gets sent out a little bit later, usually around middle of the summer, and that way you can connect with your incoming roommate, figure out who's going to bring the microwave and the mini fridge, and start chatting so that you all are ready and set to go for move-in at the end of August. So things to consider after June 1st. So again, June 1st is that decision deadline. That's where you're going to say, hopefully yes to Loyola. What you'll look forward to after that. These are some important steps that you'll want to complete before you get back to campus to move in at the end of August. So registration for orientation. This is going to happen through your student portal. So that page that we talked about at the beginning of this presentation, that will update to you and you'll be able to register for an orientation date through your portal. The next thing you're going to look at is considering setting up an iPlan. An iPlan is an installment plan. Loyola is set up so that students will make a payment in the fall and a payment in the spring. So really it's taking that bottom line cost of attendance that you see in your financial aid package, dividing it in half, paying part of it in the fall and part of it in the spring. If you would like to split up that payment into smaller monthly options, then Loyola offers a 12, 11, 10, and 9-month installment plan. And if you're looking to do the 12-month plan, that one you would want to register for sooner because the first payment is due in June. And so the way that an iPlan works is that you'll actually register through your LOCUS account. It's a one-time fee of $105 to register, and then it's equal monthly payments from there. There's no interest charge, so it can be a nice way to just take that cost and divide it up if that's something that you're looking for your family. It'll be important for you to consider setting up your Loyola email account. We want to be able to connect with you and get all of the important need-to-know facts out to you before you get here to start classes. So that UVID, that universal ID that you'll have access to, is actually your email. So for me, it's cdolan2@luc.edu. You're going to use your UVID at luc.edu to be your email, and we'll help you kind of walk through how to set that up. You can also access your email by going on to just the homepage. Email's the first drop down, so when we're ready for you to access it, you'll be able to quickly get there and figure it out. Something important to consider over the summer is submitting any credits or classes that you may have completed to us. So this comes in the form of AP, IB, and dual enrollment credits. So for those of you that have taken AP or IB classes and you're curious as to what those look like at Loyola, if you go onto our website, you're actually able to see all of the AP classes or IB classes that you've ever could have taken, the scores that we traditionally will receive for credit, and then what that class actually comes over for at Loyola. So if you're curious to see, oh, you know, what does my AP psychology class look like here at Loyola, you'll be able to check that out. Definitely encourage you to jump onto the website to do so. Just search AP or IB credits and it'll pull up that chart for you. You'll want to make sure you send the scores to us over the summer so we can add those to your student file. The same with dual credit. So dual credit is where you've taken college level classes, but at the high school level. So you're getting a transcript with a grade on it from wherever that school was that you took the class through. And so usually we will accept B's or better for credit at Loyola. Again, this will go through an official review from our records and registration office over the summer, and they'll be able to get that information loaded onto your student account. This way, we'll get you scheduled for the correct classes that you need to without repeating things you may already have incoming credit for. And then placement tests. So these will be very personalized to you, your major, and kind of your own situation. So not everyone is going to be required to take all of the placement tests that I'm going to talk about. So just know that if you are missing placement information on your page, it probably means you just don't have to take action. So a couple of the options that you may see, again, may not be for everyone. The first is our math placement. So for students that are coming in and they will be needing calculus at Loyola, so your curriculum requires calculus, and you can kind of check that out on the website by searching for your major and seeing what the classes are that you will be taking. We are going to have anyone on a calculus math track have the opportunity to place into a current level at Loyola. And we do this by looking at your standardized test scores. So we're looking at either your ACT or SAT math subscore. So based on that subscore, we're going to put you into a certain level at Loyola. And what'll happen is we'll post on your portal and say, all right, based on your ACT, this is the math class level that you are placed into to start in at Loyola. If you look at that level and you say, that sounds good to me, awesome. You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to worry about taking the placement exam. Now, if you look at that level and you say, you know what, I think I could really place into a higher level, then you have two different options. The first is that you can submit either an AP, IB, or dual enrollment credit to take that class's place. If not, then you can take the placement exam. So the placement exam lets you take a test that will then test you into a higher level math than we've placed you in based on your standardized subscore. So you'll see this information posted to your portal. Again, it's based off of that standardized sub score from your ACT or SAT. And you can choose to take action if you'd like. Otherwise, if you're happy with your placement, you can leave it be. The same is similar for the writing placement. Again, we'll let you know if that's something you'll need to complete, and we'll post that to your portal. Again, not something that every student will look to do based off of the sub-score information that we see. Okay, so the foreign language assessment. This is going to be posted to anyone's portal if you are within the College of Arts and Science, the Institute for Environmental Sustainability, either in the School of Communication, and then our International Business is another program that will require it. So essentially, all of those areas will require language up to the 102 level. So this means that coming in, let's say you've taken 4 years of Spanish in high school, well then you can take the language placement assessment for Spanish, for example, and it'll test you into the correct placement level for you to take class at Loyola. For some students, this is placing you out of having to take a language. For others, it's placing you into a higher level. And then some students choose to just start from scratch and maybe learn a new language. Loyola has a lot of different languages that they offer, and so it gives students the chance to try something new in case you want to start fresh in a new language once you get here. Placement test information, again, is personal to you. So we're gonna let you know which of the 3 different options you may be looking to take as an incoming student, and we'll post this to your portal and remind you and encourage you to check them out. Okay, orientation. So we have multiple dates for students to choose from. They go June through August. It's a great time to meet other incoming freshmen. We also have you spend the night in a residence hall on campus. And so it gives you a chance to get to know everyone, spend a little bit of time together. You won't be staying in your exact room, but it's a nice way to kind of come in and spend your first night with us on campus. The most important thing that you'll get to do for orientation is meet with your academic advisor and pick out your classes. So you actually leave orientation with your schedule in hand, knowing exactly what your Monday through Friday will look like. So this is a really important step for all of our students, obviously getting you registered for classes, and it's something mandatory that we do require everyone who's an incoming student to complete. So to give you an idea, here are the freshman orientation dates for this summer. So good idea to take a look through just in case you have any sort of plans or conflicts coming up this summer. Lots of different options for you to choose from. Again, you'll register for your orientation date through your student portal. We'll post that onto your next steps as we move closer on to getting these dates started. Okay, so right before we get you here on campus, a few things to consider and to do. The first is your immunization form. So similar to when many of you may have entered high school, you would have to turn in some information about the different immunizations that you have completed. Loyola has a 2-step process for this. So the first is that you'll actually go into your LOCUS account, and in that Next Stops portal, you're gonna type in when you received that vaccine and put all of that information in. And the second step, after you complete your LOCUS information, is to actually send in your immunizations to our Wellness Center. If you have questions about the immunization form, what it entails, the process of submitting it, you can always jump onto our website, search for it, and the Wellness Center offers some really great tips and tricks on how to smoothly enter that information in and get our Wellness Center updated with that immunization form. You'll definitely want to send in a final transcript. We want to make sure that you have in fact graduated from high school and are ready to start at Loyola. I always recommend checking with your counseling center. A lot of times they'll ask you where you're headed off to next year. You can just let them know that hopefully that'll be at Loyola, and you'll have that final transcript sent over to us. We do need that on file as part of your account, so make sure to do that. Don't forget to over the summer. And then something to look forward to before you get here is setting up your Handshake account. So usually around August 1st, Handshake will go live. This is something that gives you the opportunity to have some employment on campus and search for those opportunities. So students will be able to go on to Handshake, it's Loyola's own job posting website, to search out either on campus employment. It's also where you can, as a current student, look for things like internship opportunities and ways to connect off campus, as well as an alumni. You can stay within the Loyola connection. But to start you off, it's getting in there and putting in your resume, your cover letter, having that all approved and ready to search out some of those opportunities. Don't worry if August 1st rolls around and you jump onto Handshake and there's not a ton of employment posted. Many of those opportunities will come as you get closer to the start of the school year, and even after you get to campus within the first couple of weeks that you're in class. So lots of different ways to get involved on campus, and Handshake's a great resource for our students. Okay, if you want to take out your phone or write down these dates, these are some really helpful kind of dates to keep in mind. Move-in happens August 18th through the 20th. You will be given an exact move-in day and time. So you'll be told exactly when to pull that minivan up to campus. You're going to jump out and actually just go get your key, and our awesome Loyola students and faculty and staff will be there to help unload everything you've brought with you. We'll do the heavy lifting and getting it inside, and then you can work on unpacking. And classes will begin on that following Monday, August 24th. Before classes begin, we kick off Welcome Week. Welcome Week will go from the 19th of August to the 28th. It really goes through that whole first week of class. And there are so many really fun and unique ways to engage with the Loyola community. Get you out of your, dorm room and get you meeting new people, making friends, and learning a little bit more about not just the new school you're at, but this new city of Chicago that you get to call home. So be on the lookout for really fun and exciting activities during Welcome Week. And then something to look forward to once we begin is fall break, and that'll happen October 5th through 6th. All right, thank you all so very much. It's been so exciting to share with you all a little bit more, information about those next steps that we have available to you. If you have questions about any of the information that I shared today, do not hesitate to reach out to us. The first place that I would recommend is jumping on your portal and connecting with your admissions representative. You've got the email and the phone number listed right there, so reach out to us. How can we help? You can also email our general admissions inbox, which is just admission, no S on the end, it's singular, at LUC, like Loyola University of Chicago, .edu, like education. And we will reach out to you and get you connected with someone who can help. But thank you all so much. Enjoy making that college decision and have a great rest of your day.